Drake versus Kendrick. Who's better? And I promise this isn't a Drake versus Kendrick video. I'm just using them as an example because they're a great example of what I'm trying to convey. If you said Drake, you're wrong. And if you said Kendrick, you're also wrong. It was a trick question. They're both good. Just kidding. That's a lame answer and kind of a cop-out. The truth is that they're both good depending on what you listen to music for. If you're listening to music for entertainment to get a little vibe, kind of vibe, you'll love Drake because Drake makes good, mass appealing, catchy music that anyone can turn on and bump their heads to, right? And then if you enjoy music for the actual art form or the lyricism, then you'll almost universally prefer Kendrick. And there's nothing wrong with either or, whether you prefer Drake or Kendrick. There's nothing wrong with listening to music for entertainment over listening to music for art. Just because you appreciate something for its art doesn't mean you're better than someone who doesn't, I personally love Kendrick Lamar, right? Because that's what I value. I value music as an art form. I've grown up with music. I've played music since I was 4 years old. The earliest memory I have is of me listening to Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. I also love Drake because, he makes catchy music when I'm just trying to turn my brain off and bump my head, it's good. But just because I like Kendrick doesn't mean I'm more sophisticated than someone who listens to Drake. Because that same person who listens to Drake might really value movies, for example, right? There's probably plenty of movies out there that have changed the genre and shaped the art form that I would watch and I'd think this is some bullshit because I don't care about movies. When I watch a movie, I'm watching it to be entertained, right? That's why movies like Spider-Verse or fucking Obsession are so successful, is because they're really good at entertaining people. And those movies that are really good at entertaining people and pulling in that mass audience make tons of money. Does that mean Avatar is the best movie of all time? Fuck no. There are likely many movies that came before any of these movies that changed the art form, influenced the entire genre, likely more significant than any modern movie that has come out today. But most people watching those movies won't care because they don't care for movies. The same way that most people listen to Drake because he's entertaining and he makes catchy music over Kendrick, who, despite being much more acclaimed than Drake, doesn't pull nearly the amount of numbers that Drake does. Because there are less people who care about the art of something than there are people consuming that art for entertainment. A lot of my friends don't really listen to music for the art, right? I'll put on fucking Wesley's Theory by Kendrick and they'll kick my ass out of the car because it sounds fucking insane. But the meaning of that song and how it ties into the entirety of To Pimp a Butterfly is what makes that song so meaningful to me and why I fuck with it over the sound. Though I personally think that shit sounds fire. It's like the same way people view modern art, right? People look at a lot of modern art pieces and they fucking laugh, right? Because it's like it looks like some bullshit. It looks like a couple splats of paint on a big ass canvas and some rich millionaire is gonna be like, let me buy it for 500 million. And then people look at them and are like, are these people insane? I mean, maybe a little bit. You kind of have to be a little bit insane to become that rich. But it largely doesn't matter to them because most people who look at modern art don't care about modern art. That's why we laugh at it. We think it's some bullshit. But for the people who care about modern art and the meaning behind it, the meaning that they relate to it, that's why it matters to them. Those fucking streaks and splats of paint that to most people just look like streaks and splats of paint might mean a lot more to the person who buys it or to the person who made it, because they made it with a certain intent, a certain message that they wanted to deliver. Like Drake's music is art because there are people around the world who value it. Though there likely aren't as many people who value Drake's music as there are people who value Kendrick's music, that doesn't make Drake's music any less valuable to those people who find value in it. So no, Drake is not objectively better than Kendrick because he makes more sales, and Kendrick is not objectively better than Drake because he's more artistic. It depends on the person, which everyone knows already, but for some reason refuse to acknowledge because a lot of people think their tastes are superior to someone else's, which is fucking dumb, by the way. If you believe you are better than someone because you have different tastes than them, or you listen to more niche artists than them, then you are trash. You are nothing. Intellectual humility is a very good trait to have, guys. That's why I'm not gonna make fun of anyone for their personal tastes in art, because art is very subjective. You know, just because something seems worthless, if it has meaning to someone, then that thing has value. Art is nothing if not for the people who value it. And the earth is just a rock without the voices of art. Amen.